Hi, welcome to Astrology for Gain Traders. My name is Olga Morales. Now, I've been asked today to have a look at Donald Trump's inauguration, and I thought I would do that quickly. Now, there are some very difficult aspects happening on the 20th of January 2025, which are concerning to me. So I'll show you why. In the chart, but if you just look at it on the day, the sun will be conjunct Pluto at around 1 degree of Aquarius, okay? But the same time, they will be 45 degrees to Saturn, okay? So that's called an eighth harmonic, which is not a nice, it's a difficult combination that's been playing out for a while now, and every time they are activated, it's quite difficult. Now, if you read Everton's book, the Saturn-Pluto midpoint is all about, you can lose all your possessions with that. It's great losses, really. And so it's difficult too because the sun's there, so that the sun's really representing Donald Trump as the leader that's been inaugurated. Okay, so with the Pluto, that's him wanting a lot of power and expecting to be in a powerful position. But because of the 45 to Saturn, that can really restrict his power. So if you read Everton, I'm just looking in his book, it says ruthless overcoming of obstacles and difficulties, physical impediment, restriction, separation by high power or imprisonment. So it's like he's got up there, he's up there with him thinking that he's got a lot of power, but there's this Saturn aspect that's quite restrictive and he can take a bit of a blow there. Now, I had this transit personally myself in my own chart when I was diagnosed with colon cancer 10 years ago. So there is an element of something too in your body, okay? But what I want to show you, what this eighth harmonic is, because people can get confused when I'm talking about the eighth and fourth harmonic. But when we convert the 360 degree wheel to a dial, this is a 90 degree dial. This is the fourth harmonic, but anytime the planets are across the dial, which is half of 90, they're going to be making a 45 degree aspect or 135 degree aspect, which is called a sesquiquadrate, semi-square or sesquiquadrate. So you can see here, if I look at that chart with the, I'll put the grid on it so you can see. I've put this grid so you can see that the sun is also semi-square Venus, okay, because she's actually evening star, and you can see that it's also semi-square Saturn, okay, and the sun is conjunct Pluto, and Saturn and Pluto are semi-square, okay. If you go through these, the grid's really good way if you're a bit confused about looking at the dial. Anytime you see a hard aspect, which is either conjunct, square, or opposite, the closer they are, you're going to see them exactly line up. If they're conjunct, square, or in opposition, they'll appear to be like a conjunction. If they're 45 or 135, they'll be across the dial. So this is what I'm looking at here. I don't like this pattern for that day because, he might be feeling really confident and powerful, but then there's Saturn on the other side. Okay, so what I thought, I would put it on his actual natal chart, and let me have a look. Where is it? Well, here. So what I've done here, I've got Donald Trump's natal chart in the center, and then I've got the actual transits of the inauguration on the outside wheel. Now, this is what's concerning to me, because at the moment he's got Mars is actually conjunct his Saturn, which is not really favorable. You've got the two malefics together, and Everton says that's actually called the death aspect. So it's a really debilitating aspect to have, okay. But the other thing is, if you look at the Saturn, the Sun, Pluto, Saturn across the dial, what natal midpoints does that activate in his chart? And you can see all these, okay. Now, what's concerning to me, again, is that it actually activates his own Saturn Pluto. So see, Saturn and Pluto, this axis is actually also activating his Saturn Pluto in his natal chart. It's activating his Neptune Mars, which is the infection and disease midpoint. And so Saturn's there. So this is really a really difficult pattern. So I'm not saying that this is not just for the day, because the Pluto Saturn is in that position for a little while. So it doesn't look good for me. And looking at this in terms of transits, he's going to have a difficult time, and he may even get quite ill. His cosmic midpoint map is showing quite a difficult period at this time. So I just wanted to put it out there. I don't think he's in a strong position. Not like when he was president last time. I did a few forecasts then, and he had some really strong, positive, supportive aspects at that time. But this one looks really difficult. So I don't know if there's going to be another attempt on his life, or the Neptune Mars can be like him getting sick from even gas or poisoning. I know that sounds a bit dramatic, but Neptune has been involved with that sort of poisoning. So yeah, I don't like it. So I just wanted to put it out there. I don't want to. I'm not hoping for anything to happen to him, but he under these aspects, it looks difficult for him, for the first period of his leadership. And I mean, I might do a bit more later on, looking at it in more detail about his transits. But I have got his cosmic midpoint map in my OMS Planetary Watch, and I've also got his cosmic midpoint. I've put in some pivotal dates for him this year. What I did was I went back to when all the attempts on his life and other occurrences that have happened to him, and I just tried to see the most sensitive part of his chart, and I then looked at those and found what midpoints were involved, and then I can make a judgment of when those midpoints are going to be activated again. So I've got a list of dates for him that are important for him. But this inauguration chart is really difficult. So we'll see what happens. Okay, thanks for listening.